there's like an anti-fragility requirement right now. Like, you can't just show up normal. It's just not good enough right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's challenging to share that with people because they have to believe it for their own reasons, you know. And I don't know, how do you navigate that? Like, because you coach a lot. I mean, I coach too, but I'd be curious about your perspective and take on that.
Yeah, so I wrote about this not last issue, but in our LFG newsletter before, because it's something I think is important to your point, is that when you look at when you take an inventory, recession, inflation, everything that's happening right now, right? But you also got to understand that we had 2 back-to-back boom years where we did double the amount of production. What happens in any sell cycle, but in a certain, let's say a given year, let's just keep it in the mortgage market because that's, what we're talking about, is that you do an X amount, like whether it's 1.6, 2.1 trillion, whatever it happens to be in a given market, right? You could only do so much business, right? You can only do so much business. And so there's a natural transition of people from quarter to quarter, year to year on basically the amount of people that you can do business with, right? It's seasonality, everything else. That's how the market works. The problem is that when you do 2 back-to-back of double that, you've created what I call the consumer deficit of people that are going to be able to be in the money or in the market, right? They don't exist, right? So if you take, and this is where data matters, right? And when you take and look at the people of a normal home buying age, population of the United States, and you look like, okay, that leaves you roughly with around like 86 million people, right? Then you take that of the median house price in the country and look at what the average savings is based off of that age range. It's only 8% of that population that has at least 3.5% down for a down payment, right? Then on top of that, you take the percentage of people that in this market that are in, like I said, in the market, in the money, that have fair to poor credit, which loan officers hate to do, to work leads that are credit challenged, right? So you take that, you don't have a great amount of app to loan pull through quality in your leads. You just won't. It's impossible. It's mathematically impossible because we've had a deficit for the last 2 years of having a boom, right? So you have to set expectations. But here's the thing. Because of the normal mindset, that was okay to do that in 2020 and 2021. It's not okay. So when I mentioned the guy earlier, is like, he's like what he started to do 3, 6, 12 months ago with keeping in touch with people, filling the database with everyone, working low credit leads, getting them up to par. Now he's created a never-ending pipeline because he started 12 months ago, right? Now people are trying to start today and expecting the same type of results that they've had. So again, it goes back to mindset. It's just unrealistic expectations of people, because guess what? The people that are at 2.5%, 3% aren't moving, right? But here's the thing, right? And this is why I always say that your marketing starts before the consumer even knows who you are, is that you have to market to something that is almost impossible to market to, right? At least as consistently. And that's life events, because you can't tell when someone's going to change a job. You can't tell when someone's getting divorced. You can't tell when someone's getting married or whatever without getting into creepy data, of course. But those life events still happen. Even with all of the things that are going on, we're still going to probably do around 1.3, 1.4 trillion, right? Which means business is always going to be done for whatever reason, but you have to be there in order to capture that business. The people that I see are successful are the ones that started 12 months ago to be there, right? And now they're there, and now they're doing business, right? And you can't pull back. You can't just like, I'm waiting for rates to go back, but you also got to have a different message too, right? Because there are people that can't afford. But the problem is that we used so much of this rates in 2021, getting appreciation. Everyone's in let's make a deal mindset, right? So the story I said is that, look, what you should be saying is you want to buy now with higher rates. Why? Because you probably won't be able to afford that house you're looking at or want when rates are lower, because you're going to have bidding wars, cash offers, and it's going to be out of it. I had a friend that lost a house that he could have afforded when no one was bidding on it, when no one was looking at it in February. But then rates came down because of the bank failures and bonds rallied. So guess what? Rates are down. I went, couldn't afford it, right? Because it went 50,000 over what he could have bought it for in February, right? So that's the mindset people don't understand, is like, it's what I call my PAL framework, right? It's the perceived value, actual value, and loss of value. As an originator, you say, hey, can I get you, if I get you what you want, is that valuable to you? Yes. If I could get it to you at a price you could afford, is that valuable to you? Yes, right? If I could do the work so to make sure you don't lose what's valuable to you, is that valuable to you? Yes, you got 3 yeses. So if they say anything, wait a second, you just told me yes on this, yes on this, yes on this. Here it is, right? Is that value, or is it let's make a deal, right? Are you going to be in this house for 20 minutes? Or are you going to be in it for 5 years? If you're going to be in it for 5 years, then that's the end of the conversation. They just have, but they're not used to talking like that. So that's how I look at it.
It reminds me of a Donald Trump quote that I heard once. He said, "I overpaid on all of my best deals." Right. And the idea is that if you wait for the best time, if you wait for the lowest price, if you wait for, no. Do you want it? Right. If you want it, there's never, and I mean, this is pretty universally true, even outside the housing market. Name a time when waiting was a great investment strategy. Right. Doesn't exist. You were there or you weren't. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. And, obviously housing is no different in that. That's a great perspective on that, bro. So